Do you know what's one of the dumbest things you could do as a woman? Build a man for another woman.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Let's get into the video.
I will say this as many times as it takes. Stop building a man. Why? Because when you build a man, you take from yourself. All for him, take everything he learned and on to the next girl. Meanwhile, you're left with wondering, where did this man go? I just poured my life into him, my energy, my resources, my skills, my patience. I got nothing in return. And what you don't realize is that there are men out here who are not going to wait to learn on the job. They're not going to come to change. They're going to come prepared. They're not going to make elementary level mistakes. No, they're going to plan the dates. They're going to buy you the flowers, buy you the chocolates without making you seem like you're the crazy one for asking those things. And I don't care what religion you belong to, what caste, what creed, what faith, what culture, in almost every single one of them, it says that a man should provide and that a man should want to provide. But when they don't is when they want to be provided for.
No, because why would you be with a man who is doing worse than you when we literally live in a society that has given him every single competitive advantage to be better than you? It is truly that simple. And the reason that there are women who are confused by this concept is because from a very young age, we have been indoctrinated into glorifying romantic love, prioritizing marriage, and also believing that our worth is tied to a man picking us. That is why patriarchy so desperately needs women to have low self-esteem and also to some extent hate ourselves, because that is the only situation in which a woman would then actively choose to be with a man who falls short compared to her across every life category. There is no situation or example on this earth that would make that make sense. It does not make sense to enter into a situation or to be with someone where you are then worse off. And we all know at this point that in general, marriage is usually high risk, low reward for most women. So if you are someone who still wants to get married or you still want to be in relationships with men, I would strongly encourage you to best position yourself. And a way to do that is to make sure that that man that you are choosing is in a better position.
Do you know what's one of the dumbest things you could do as a woman? Build a man for another woman. Wasting years of your life focusing on him and building him and glowing him up rather than building yourself. And then one day he leaves you for someone else who did none of that stuff for him. Now you might be watching this and you think, Anna, this is common knowledge. I would never build a man for a different woman. Are you sure? Because why are you always picking up the phone? Why are you always cooking? Why are you always cleaning? Why are you always checking in with him? Why do you always make him the protein shake after he's been to the gym? You always have to check in with him how he's feeling, if he slept okay, if he's eaten. Why are you shopping with him and putting together an entire new wardrobe, buying him shoes, clothes, having an entire glow up, putting together an entire new wardrobe and skincare routine? Because let me ask you this. For what? Why are you putting all this energy into him? This is a grown-ass man. He can look after himself. He can cook himself. He can clean himself. He can fold his own laundry. If he needs a t-shirt, he can go to the shops and buy it himself. If he uses a 3-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, and body wash, let him use that. Do a glow-up on yourself, but instead, you're choosing to put that entire focus and energy on him. You're making him the black cat, and you end up in the golden retriever role chasing and pursuing him. The more you do for him, the more desperate and needy you look, because he knows you're trying to overcompensate. You're trying to get his approval through your actions. The less you'll do for him, the more he's gonna do for you. The less you come his way and you pull away just ever so slightly, he is forced to come your way. Stop giving yourself up for him and wasting your precious time on this planet. You are building a man for another woman. Let your man build himself. Stop giving yourself up for this man. This is a grown-ass man. He can look after himself, period.
I was talking to my guy friend yesterday and we were discussing this notion that a lot of girls don't want to build with guys, because really often you see guys who are broke build and the girl will build with them, and then he gets successful and leaves her for like a younger 24-year-old. She invested and wasted so much time and now she's older in the dating market, starting back at square one. At first, he didn't really see where I was coming from. His perspective was more like, well, if I don't build with a girl, then I'm not sure that she's going to be with me for anything other than my money when I'm successful. So let me try to explain the female psychology for girls who think like me. So I kind of have two pillars of thought when it comes to this. First pillar is that I feel like a lot of guys, when they're broke, they don't choose their dream woman. They pick the girl that fits their current lifestyle that they can like quote unquote afford. Then when they reach success, they finally have like this ginormous pool of girls who want them and they kind of get their pick of the litter. Now they can go for their dream woman. And by the way, I don't think every guy is like this. I'm well aware that there's many guys that blew up with their girlfriend or whatever, and that is the person they stick with forever. I think this really comes down to the fact that it's a personality trait. Are you a cheater or not? Is it your character to cheat and seek novelty or not? I recognize that. So the other pillar of thought that I have when it comes to this is that I feel like the guys psychologically don't want the woman who watched him struggle. I think they want to, but I think the guys that are still starting at zero and are building, they don't like who they are. And so when he reaches that level of success, he's always going to tie that old version that he's trying to escape to that woman. I think there's a lot of guys out there that don't want to be seen. I think a lot of guys want to be seen for that post glow up self. They want the woman who sees him as like this hero, who sees them as like this manly man. Not saying that a girl who builds won't see that. If anything, she actually might. She might respect him a lot for what he went through. But I think this has a lot to do with men's ego, and so many of these guys just don't want a woman that's seen that side of them. Again, not every guy. I am totally aware of that. And so when you combine these two main reasons, for me, it's not about gold digging or finding a guy that's super successful. To me, this is risk management. I don't think that most of us will be able to accurately assess how a person is going to change when he gets power and success. You know, a guy who's making 80K versus a guy who's making 800K, they don't have the same temptations, the same self-control battles, the same access to women. Their values might even change once they reach a certain level of success. There's not really a way to predict this. You can look at character, but people change a lot when they get power and money. And I don't want to be blindsided. I want to date somebody who's at his finished, stable state, who's already experienced some of this temptation and experienced a level of success. I also don't want somebody who's super successful, like very much at their peak of their career, because I think those guys also have a different psychology that I don't want to have to deal with. I'd rather meet somebody who's somewhat experienced success and is still building and working towards something. And I have no problem holding somebody down and like building with them there. But I need to see that they've already experienced a level of success where I know that they are kind of who they are at this point. And I need to know how they react and how they've behaved with all this new access that they have to women, to money, to power. I think at that point, a man's identity is a lot more solidified. So yeah, not looking to date for potential, not looking to take a gamble on who he might become. There's also the age factor. I'm 25. I don't want to build with somebody, then I've reached 30, he's reached success, and suddenly he's leaving me for the young 25-year-old, and I have to restart at square one, and I'm like older in the dating pool. So for these reasons, very quick summary, I will not be dating to build with somebody.
Glow different this summer. The Vaseline Illuminate Me Body Butter and Glow Oil set is that combo. Deep hydration, radiant shimmer glow, perfect for melanin rich skin. Moisturize plus glowing at the same time? Yes please. Soft skin, shiny glow, all in one. Get it as a combo or separately at an affordable price. Link in the description below.
I'm gonna tell you guys exactly why you should be meaner to men. How the more you do for him on his come up, building him up, makes him think, ooh, I'm great, not you're great, not she's great. Fucked up, right? You would think it's completely the opposite. Boy math. The more she does for me, the more I must be great, not she's great. It's boy math. Makes no sense. But here we are. Your energy that makes that man special. Don't forget that ever. They need to be constantly incentivizing you to even be around them. It's very counterintuitive, but we have to fight against our own empathy with men. I'm not saying you shouldn't have empathy when you actually find a quality man, but you need to make sure that he's adding a lot to your life and never ever build a man up, because this is what happens. A few years ago, I was seeing this guy, and this was before my deprogramming. I'm being super nice. One of my girlfriends was actually looking for male models for her campaign that I was running. I was directing this campaign and took photos to show to my friend, the designer. These photos, bitch, they were fucking fire. I made this man look like a top model. Again, what did he think? I'm so great. Girl, when I tell you, his confidence, the way it switched up after I got him that role, and after he did that photo shoot, this amazing famous photographer, like, this was a dream come true. Especially for a man that's never modeled before. Like, I saw that potential in him. And you know what? You guessed it. He thought he was so great. Keep in mind, we're still dating at this point. So I text him. He leaves me on red. He sees the message, does not respond. I'm like, I had this guy that should have been worshiping me, now thinking that he's this fucking god. Now having all the audacity. I'm just like, what the hell? I'm just like, dude, like, I'm making all this effort and you can't even respond to a fucking message. I call him out. He goes, Jesus, Anna, relax. I message on my own time. I was in Mexico, just got home. Today I have some time-sensitive work to do. Basic common decency is now out. Like, what the fuck? So he goes, blah, blah, blah. But yes, regardless, you and I will never be more than friends or fuck buddies, so I don't want to waste your time. You know I'm not serious like that. Bitch, what? What? You live in a garage. You are a broke surf instructor. He's also an addict. Of course, as women, we see the good in people, and we always see the good, and our empathy takes over and our conditioning. When we have a connection with somebody, we value that connection. We don't think, oh my god, I must be so great. But they take a bad bitch's magic energy for themselves, use it to prop themselves up, and now think they're amazing. Long story short, again, I was too nice, learned my lesson. But also, this was when I was still programmed, thinking that being the cool girl will ensure respect and decency and whatever. No. The best part is when he contacts me like a year later, because of course he's trying to get a portfolio together. Ooh, guess what? Nobody's hiring him for a model. Nobody's working with him. Shocker. The best thing about him was me, just like the best thing about that man is you. And he's desperately trying to get the photos that I took of him. He's like, I'm trying to build a portfolio up. Please, I need these photos. Whatever, I'll do anything. I'm like, bitch, I did this when we were going out, when we were friends. So I thought, now you're coming back, asking for a favor. I'm like, that's gonna be $300. And of course, as soon as I stop being nice, he's over here trying to gaslight me and guilt me. I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up. So I sent him this. That's the only thing that he deserves. Bitch, this is who you were before me, and this is who you were after me, and now you're back to here. It was my magic, it's your magic that makes that guy special. It was my magic and my energy that made him like this. Instead of appreciating it, they always think they're so cool. Bye. See you later. They need to be constantly incentivizing you to be around them. They have to be adding so much to your life for you even to consider dating or hanging out with them, period. As women, we're so empathetic and always taking his pain as our pain. Literally every movie and show that we were raised with has the woman being super patient, always taking his pain as our pain, always building him up on his come up. I mean, we were super conditioned and programmed through storylines and characters like this, taking the man back whenever he's ready on his timing, showing these ride or dies and making it sound romantic, like it's a romantic destiny instead of the oppression and subjugation that it is.
Money first, love later. And let me explain before you get emotional. Sit down. Today we need to talk about something that women do not want to hear. A lot of women are not obsessed with love because they're hopeless romantics. A lot of women are obsessed with love because they do not have enough money to be obsessed with freedom. Let me say that again. A lot of women are obsessed with love because they do not have enough money to be obsessed with freedom. Sometimes it's not that you want the man that bad. Sometimes it's not that you don't have options outside of him. You don't have money to travel. You don't have the money to pour into your hobbies or in your self-development, on a coach or whatever investment that you need to invest to teach you how to become a woman. You don't have the money to build a peaceful life. You don't have the money to leave when you're tired. So now a relationship becomes a dream, a title becomes a prize, and a man choosing you becomes the escape. This is why I always tell women the most feminine thing you can do is make your own money. Not because you want to be masculine, not because you want to compete with men, not because you don't desire provision, but because money gives a woman nervous system safety. Money gives you options. Money gives you space. Money gives you the ability to say, I love you, but I do not need to suffer here. Because let's be honest, a lot of women would not be begging for commitment if they had a beautiful life to return to. A lot of women would not tolerate bare minimum if they had the resources to go where they feel alive. A lot of women would not stay in marriages, relationships, situationships, or dynamics that are draining them if leaving did not feel financially terrifying. That is the part that nobody wants to talk about. Obviously, you must pair this with doing inner work and working on yourself and personal development, not just money. You have to work on your inside because whatever's inside is what's going to come out of you. Okay? People project how you feel about yourself. They just affirm you through what you believe about subconsciously about yourself. Love is beautiful, but love without options can turn into survival. Love without money can turn into dependence. And love without self-trust can turn into captivity. This is why I don't just teach women to be soft. I teach women to be soft and sovereign. Because softness without resources will have you at the mercy of whoever is paying the bills. And I don't want women performing femininity from a place of fear. I want women embodying femininity from a place of power. Because when you have your own money, dating feels different, motherhood feels different, marriage feels different, leaving feels different, and receiving feels different, because you're not choosing from desperation anymore. You are choosing from overflow. So yes, desire marriage, desire love, desire provision, desire romance, but never build a life where your peace depends on a man being good to you. That is not femininity. That is a hostage situation with lip gloss on. This is exactly why I created the feminine reset. Because before you can receive at a higher level, your nervous system needs to stop confusing attachment with safety, because they're two different things. That's why you see women that they have the financial stability, but they keep choosing ain't shit as men, because your nervous system controls your dating patterns. She's used to that type and high and low in a man, so that's why she chooses poor men. This is why doing nervous system work is crucial. This is also why I created the provider magnet, because yes, I want you to receive from men, I want you to be provided for, but I want you to receive these things without losing yourself. So yes, money first, love later, because when a woman has options, her standards become real. Okay, I hope this video helped. I hope it gave you clarity, and I love you. Mwah. Bye.
If you've made it this far, thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.